So far, we've talked a lot about the potential financial impact of ransomware attacks, and that's obviously material. On the flip side of that, though, is most companies would say we're spending a lot of money already on security defenses. Aren't we doing something about this now? And the reality is, an organization could spend infinitely to buy down risk. How are you finding organizations find that balance? For these low frequency, high severity events?
Yeah, it's a very good question, right? And I think that's really where sort of strong analysis, quantification in particular, or just in general, a deep analysis is very useful. You can, of course, spend as much as you would like on security. You'll never be infinitely secure. Budgets are finite, in some cases decreasing, in some cases increasing, but budgets are finite. So how do you target your spend? How do you understand the return on security investments? And of course, you're not making a profit here, but your return is then seen in risk reduction. And to do that, you need to have a dollar expression of risk. So quantification is a very good way, perhaps not the only, but a very good way to make these decisions, putting the potential risk reduction of security spending into financial language. So you can think about it in a manner that's sort of conducive to spending decisions. And then, of course, through scenario analysis, through quantification, you could look at the tails of those distributions as well as the sort of the median, and you can think about those severe but infrequent events like ransomware that potentially your organization's never seen and that aren't represented in your incident data.
Yeah. One of the things that we're starting to see because of the increase in the frequency and the severity of these attacks is an increase in the, regulatory landscape as well too. We're seeing, various governments across the globe start to address this. We've seen GDPR in, the EU. We're seeing states in the United States here start to pop up with their own regulations. What are some of the issues that people aren't thinking about yet that they should be, or what are the issues people should look for based on the history of regulatory guidance?
So I think it's only moving in one direction.
More.
More and more good. And cyber security itself is cyber as a risk that has that sort of regulatory scrutiny is, of course, it's much newer, it's much less mature than regulatory focus on market risk or on operational risk generally. History has shown that this sort of regulatory scrutiny only moves in one direction, and that really makes sense given that the threat is only moving in one direction. So though it's very difficult to predict exactly, and I wouldn't want to predict exactly what will be done from a regulatory point of view over the next 6 months or the next 2 years, the general direction is very clear.
Yeah, we can see which way the winds are blowing in this one. More regulation is coming. We're seeing the SEC, the Security Exchange Commission, start to increase regulation. I can see more coming. I think you're spot on with that. We can't predict what or when, but for sure something's going to happen.